Well, at this point in time, I met with Minister Whiteside in BC on Friday, and we are reviewing the request to the exemption that they put forward to us. We're sitting with Health Canada officials at this time, but we are wholeheartedly committed to continue to work with BC. They requested this exemption from the federal government with a full plan for a suite of tools to address the illicit toxic drug supply and the overdose crisis. Our commitment is to keep this firmly in the frame that this is a health care crisis and it is not a criminalization issue.
How quickly do you think you can act? So BC has asked you to take these actions, and as you said, you met with the minister. How quickly can you respond and give them what they're looking for?
Well, considering I only received the letter on Friday and today is Monday, it is under review with officials at this time.
Are you committed to decriminalization? If another jurisdiction, I know Toronto, for example, has an application to allow for decriminalization, would the federal government be in the position, given BC's experience, to be granting more exemptions for decriminalization?
So I think we need to go back to first principles of policy here. In addressing the illicit toxic drug supply and the overdose crisis, we know as a federal government that we work with jurisdictions on a case-by-case basis, making sure we have a full suite of tools available to help vulnerable populations. That includes prevention, that includes harm reduction, that includes treatment, and that includes a full set of health considerations. At this time, Toronto's request is under review. We look at this case by case. It's not an apples to apples situation, and we continue to partner and work with jurisdictions.
Just to be clear, you would still, decriminalization is still something you would be prepared to go forward with and grant in a jurisdiction?
The overdose crisis, as I've said before, and I say again, is a health crisis issue. It is not a criminal one.
What does it say to you about the policy overall with BC saying public use has gotten so out of hand, we have to look back at getting rid of this part from decriminalization? Just what does that say to you about this policy overall, where public use has gotten to such a bad level in BC?
What I say is that, again, we look at a full suite. Decrim is one of a multitude of tools that we need to use to address this health crisis. You can't look at one, some of the voices out there that are polarizing right now would like to look at this in singular frames. I say resolutely that we have to look at this as a healthcare crisis of looking at all the tools that we need. We do not want to stigmatize people. We want people to get help and the treatment and services that they need, and we need to create a framework that supports them to get that healthcare assistance.
What does this tell us about the decriminalization tool, though? I take your point, it's a suite of tools, but this is one of the tools. What's the lesson here about that tool?
We are 1 year into a 3-year pilot, and we continue to work with the BC government to evaluate.
What went wrong in your mind? Because 1 year in, BC's already saying we got to pull back and it's too much. So what went wrong here?
1 year in, we're still evaluating the data and working with BC. Thank you.